Welcome back to the Conspiracy Outpost. Today we're exploring the disturbing case of Jeffrey Dahmer, a name that rings with horror and fascination. Dahmer is also known as the Milwaukee Cannibal or the Milwaukee Monster. He shocked the world in the 1980s and the 1990s with his gruesome crimes. From his childhood to the heinous acts that earned him a place in history's darkest chapters, we'll uncover the layers of his psyche and the events that led to his reign of terror. I'm your host, Casey.
I'm Mike.
I'm Joe Guillotine or Guillotine.
Jeffrey Joe. I'm Matt.
Jeffrey Joe. I mean, how's the right way you pronounce guillotine or guillotine? You take that silent L.
You just
It's guillotine.
Is it
It's guillotine, yeah.
I mean, that's the guy.
Guillotine
That was the guy's name who
Monsanto.
invented it, Joseph Guillotine.
was it?
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I learned.
I didn't
that
know
from
that's
me.
why he said.
I learned that.
It's actually pronounced guillotine, but whatever.
Shut the fuck up.
Get a little famous. And also,
So, dude-
Casey, I couldn't help but notice that no one ever called him the Milwaukee Molester. Because
Yeah, that was like a
Dude,
missed opportunity.
They
That
probably
was.
should have.
Or
I mean, dude, the whole
or
reason,
since he was an
like the
alcoholic,
whole reason he
call
got
him
caught
Milwaukee's
was because
best.
like the one
Ice.
one of the times he almost got caught. Like there was that little 12-year-old Asian boy.
Yeah. There were several times where he fucking he did shit around kids and got the charges dropped lower.
Dude, that was the weird thing is like the police were just like, it's a lover's quarrel. It's like that's a fucking
That's
child.
wild. It's Milwaukee.
And it's like, dude, I don't know. Like,
That's
you
child.
see fucking high schoolers now. They look like they're fucking children.
That's why we
Like,
choose
that's
to
a
walk.
12-year-old, man. That's a 12-year-old. And then there's this fucking alcoholic, guy in his mid-20s is just like, yeah, that's my boyfriend. They're like, lover's quarrel, not like, wait, what the fuck did you just say?
Yeah, he looks like that weird kid. Like he looks like that weird kid in school that was always gleeking on everything.
Yeah, and I don't mean to sound too racist, but Asians look younger than white people by a lot. So that 12-year-old probably looked like he was like 8.
Ooh, we do age terribly, unless you're fucking
Yeah.
Malcolm in the Middle. What's his real name?
Yeah, but he's like Peter Pan. He never grew up.
Frankie
His
Muniz.
fucking
got a
head.
beard.
Dude. That's how
Yeah.
you got to count the fucking the
Dude,
inches of
there-
ring on
there's
that
one-
forehead.
There's this one English white actor that does not fucking age. It's that blonde kid from Maze Runner. He was also in Doctor Who and shit. That motherfucker
Who?
in Maze Runner was 25,
Wait, who?
and he's playing a 12-year-old. The blonde kid from Maze
What
Runner.
was the first show?
He was also in. He was also in Doctor Who.
Wait, who?
What about Sam? What about Sam Elliott? He's
Stop
been the
fucking with
same-
me.
He's been the same age for the last 40
What about
years.
Tim-
Okay, he
Sam
hit
Elliott?
60 and was just like, I'm not aging anymore.
I don't think
His voice
I don't
did.
think-
His
I don't
voice
think-
old school
he hit-
Call of Duty Prestige restarted and just got deeper.
He hit age 60 at 30,
I would love to hear him.
and then he was like, I'm done aging.
I would love to hear him narrate
I
Dahmer.
One hell of a
Dahmer's
crazy.
life. Sam Elliott doing it.
I feel
really loved
I feel like that's what also happened to
Back
Sir
at the
Ian
first
McKellen
time, so he got back up on that horse.
and Patrick Stewart. They just hit an age and then we're like, we're done aging. This is how we're gonna look forever.
Okay. Wait, what'd you say?
Okay.
Oh, sorry, no, wait. What'd you say? Sorry, I was spacing out.
I feel it's the same way for Sir Ian McKellen and
Oh yeah. Oh,
Patrick
Yeah,
Stewart.
Patrick Stewart was old as fuck forever. You
They
gotta pay
just-
attention to the hairline because he had that weird fucking.
Yeah, they just
going on in
oh yeah,
Star Trek.
in Star Trek, yeah.
That shit
They just
pissed
hit a
me
certain
off.
age and then we're like,
I
I'm this
couldn't-
age. I'm just this age forever now.
I couldn't get into Star Trek because that shit pissed me off. Just looking at his hair, the fucking piss. You can't look like a bald eagle running around like that. The little bit of fucking hair like that.
My other singer is a Star Trek fan over a Star Wars fan.
That's insane because you
And
don't
it's-
have people that
yeah.
have the fucking
That
half
that
a
was very
Friars-
disappointing.
Friars haircut.
I was trying to do that, but my mouth was dry.
But have you guys seen Fanboy?
But it's like, oh god, I watched Fanboys last night.
Do the
And
Megan?
it's like, how much for the phaser gun? It's like, we don't hawk Trekkie trash here.
Yeah.
It's like, then why do you have the phaser gun? It's like to root out fucking shitty Trekkies like you. Now get off our
Yeah,
land.
tell him to get the hell off our land. Get the hell
Get
off
off
our
our
land.
land.
And it starts playing the Star Trek music as they're walking out.
Dude, my favorite, like,
Oh
I
fuck!
love. Dude, that is probably one of my favorite
I've
movies.
been
It
wanting
really
to
is.
rewatch it
But
so
the
bad.
no one calls Han Solo a
Yeah,
bitch
I like the
because
liberty
I
part. He's like,
I
sink,
truly
sink,
believe.
come on, Buff. He's fucking full on nerd
Snicky, snicky,
battle.
snort. Yeah.
He's like, we'll name
Oh,
one
no,
person.
snicky, snicky, snorts is fucking Mallrats. Sorry.
Darth Vader has asthma, so he's fucking. Oh shit, my ear.
Fucking Trekkies, dude.
That's a great movie.
Yes.
All right.
So back to Dahmer.
Yes,
He was also a
dude.
Trekkie. Fun fact.
Of course he was,
No, he's actually a Star Wars
dude.
fan.
They all
So,
are.
like, I
Isn't
don't
he a
mean to
Star
jump
Trek
ahead a
fan
little bit, but
too?
I want to get to this before I forget it. So you know how Dahmer like cooked people, or like he ate them,
Yeah,
cooked
I
people,
knew
and
he
then
ate
like served it
people.
to his neighbors and
Oh, I didn't
shit.
know he served
And
it to the
like
neighbors.
his neighbors were constantly complaining about the smell from his cooking.
Yeah, I heard
He's like,
that
it
part.
always just smells bad or like rotten and just terrible. I think that motherfucker knew how to make a decent curry. He wouldn't have gotten complaints. That shit will cover the smell of anything.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was just him cooking the meat, as him not like getting rid of it fast enough
Yeah,
The
and
he
cops
wasn't.
went
He
over
was also.
there
Yeah,
spoiling.
He
several
would
times.
break down the bodies in his tub, and then he wouldn't clean the tub. There would just be like sitting blood in the
He's a
tub.
filthy motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like no,
Apparently, I
he
heard
was
he told the
disgusting, dude.
police one
Have
time.
you guys seen pictures from the fucking
No,
room?
I need to look at those.
Oh, it's
I wanted to
gross,
see
dude.
pictures of the fucking
This
Polaroids
guy
he
was
took of all of
grody.
his fucking victims. He told the
Yeah,
cops
What do
that
you?
he just had a dead tropical fish. He had a tropical fish that recently died. I read that he told the
yeah.
cops one time. What a weird fucking lie. Is
He,
it the details that
he's
make it
well. He said
believable? Yeah, it was a tropical
he said that
fish.
it.
I think he was
He
sucking on
said
the
that
cops' dick.
the
Huh, that's crazy
the
because it
filter
actually
on it.
smells like dried semen and decaying man in here.
Yeah, he said that the filter on his fish tank broke, and so his fish tank got bad. He also said that his freezer broke, and he had a bunch of meat go bad in his freezer
That's just funny. It was like, "Where's the
too.
fish tank?" He's just
That's more
smiling.
believable.
Okay, have a good day. It's close.
Yeah. Anyways,
Oh yeah.
where should we start this? Because I just wanted to get that out of the way
I
real
think
quick.
Casey's got the breakdown from start to the.
Oh yeah,
I was gonna say to get to know how Dahmer ended up where he ended up, we needed to go back to the beginning when he came out of his mom's coochie. And
yeah.
now
The first meat. he
just to
spread.
go back to him in his childhood, and just so people get an idea of who he was and how he grew up and
So
yada yada yada.
yeah, Dahmer, he didn't have a super weird upbringing, not like other serial killers. For that matter of fact, he wasn't necessarily abused. Didn't necessarily have like mental problems that were diagnosed or problematic at a young age. Um, like he just the first signs of like what he was getting into were just showed up as him being interested in science. Or that's how his dad, who worked in a science field, looked at it when he was interested in the dead body bones or decaying corpses of animals. Right? Is that what you had? Or
Yeah, yeah, more or less. I was trying to. I don't know where it was
so
because I was gonna talk about how his mom was.
yeah,
That's what I was.
before his mom left,
Oh, right
right?
here, here it is.
Yeah, before his mom left or had her problems, like she had problems, but like a lot of serial killers, when brains were observed, you can go back and see that a lot of aspects of their personalities that seem to lack empathy or were just kind of deformed in their own brain came from abuse at a young age. And Jeffrey Dahmer wasn't really abused. He actually had a decent upbringing. Yes, it wasn't fucking perfect, but it wasn't like other serial killers where he was beat or molested or just tortured. You know.
Well, that's what I was gonna get into. Like, because that's what I was gonna say. It says that some people said that Dahmer was deprived of attention while he was an infant, and others said that he was very loved as a child.
Yeah.
but I guess his mother was known to be a tense woman, greedy for attention and pity, and she was very argumentative with her husband and the neighbors.
I heard
So
Yeah,
she
she
was
had
also
she had
she was
some
a
mental
grade A
problems.
Karen.
is that true?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
she tried to.
no, she was on antidepressants, I believe, if I remember
She was
correctly.
crazy.
So she did have she did have, well, I don't know crazy, but she did have problems with clinical depression, which untreated would cause um, like spontaneous moods or just super low times where yes he would be neglected.
Well,
Um,
yeah, because it said that it said that she was left home by
well,
herself a lot because her husband was gone, and she was a hypochondriac wife who was separating from depression, who would demand constant
She made him
attention.
crazy. They
Yeah.
did a theory, or there was a theory that was done where they followed a bunch of adopted kids and the biological parents, and if the parents suffered trauma, it actually like changed the way their certain genes were expressed, so their kids actually still had mental
The memes that were
illnesses.
the memes that were carried down and shit. Like that's what
Yeah,
they say. Shit like
it's
anger,
still
depression,
yeah.
the fucking fight or
It'll
flight
there's
fucking thing.
yeah.
with
So
with 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 a lot of serial killers actually when they've looked back into their family background they've noticed um, generally people in their paternal line, I believe paternal, yeah, I think paternal line, no, maternal line, males in the maternal line, um, if they were violent they they tended to pass on that gene. Um,
wait,
the Night Stalker's grandfather on his mother's side was a like psychopath essentially and killed a lot of people.
So
Like I think for like the mob or something like that. He was in organized crime, I think, if I'm remembering this correctly. I don't have notes in front of me, but this is what I'm going back to. But
So,
also Ted Bundy's grandfather on his maternal side um, was also very abusive and possibly sexually abusive
dude,
too.
I
wait, on
fucking
his
love that show. Love and
paternal
Marriage.
side.
Maternal.
Oh, because
Al
maternal's
Bundy.
the mom's side.
It's not like people have looked into this. It's called the warrior gene, and it's only passed down
Oh yeah.
through maternal side.
Hmm.
Dude,
Um,
that's fucked
It's
up.
but
they say it's
Because
high
it
for
comes
psycho. Yeah, being psychotic.
I'm a really big
yeah
germaphobe and have like
a high chance of psychopathy.
I'm a big germaphobe, hypochondriac, and have OCD. And I wish I had a warrior gene. Instead, I just got the warrior gene.
But yeah, the warrior gene it's something that
You
has
didn't
been
get the fight.
studied
You
by
just got
people
the
who study
flight.
psychopaths,
Yeah, I just got
and
the man, and I'm a flightless
it
bird too.
it has been thought to play an aspect in people who are psychopaths, but it hasn't been confirmed because there are people who have the warrior gene and they are completely normal. They may just be a little more driven, but it's passed down through the maternal side generally. And with certain serial killers, you could look at their grandfathers on that side and see a lot of similarities with like psychopathic behavior.
Is it
Yeah, and
their
drinking alcohol at a
grandfathers on
young
their
I
age
know.
alters
mom's
the
side?
brain before it's fully developed. Is what I read anyway.
Yeah,
I,
yeah. That's another one. There's been multiple instances where children have been beat to where their brain didn't develop properly, and that's why they became a psychopath later on in life, too.
I think this guy was built different.
With,
well,
with
so that's what I was about to say. Like, because when when
What you were saying,
Dahmer
Mike,
was
about
when a,
the background thing, the warrior thing.
yeah,
That makes sense. Sorry, Casey.
no, yeah, no, I was just gonna add on to like what you guys were kind of saying because it said that he was known to be an energetic, happy child, but then he had a a double hernia attack, and
hmm
then he had a double hernia, and then he had to have surgery, and then after that, then that's when he became recluse
Oh,
and
I thought
timid.
I thought he had a seizure.
No, no, he
Okay,
had a
so
double
hernia.
hernia.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he had to have surgery. Then after the surgery, that's when he became quiet,
So
recluse, and his friend group got smaller,
Started
and
picking up aviator glasses.
yeah, and
um,
then the
but
teacher,
like
one of the teachers at his school said that she detected early signs of abandonment due to his father being away from home all the time and his mother's mental
his
illness
father was away for a
situation.
long time, but his father also, when he was home, tried to take interest in what his son was doing and tried to foster some care in his son's
Can
interests,
we talk about his father's name?
which actually turned out to be a bad thing because, like I was saying before, his father was in the scientific field, and he showed his son how to take the carcasses of animals, bleach the bones, so that you can actually maintain the skeletons afterwards and keep them as trophies. And that was some they would do taxidermy type shit together because that's what his son was into, and he was trying to film a bond with his son.
Yeah, he
And that's when he started collecting
dead.
dead
Yeah,
animals,
roadkill.
dissected
Yeah.
them, and buried them behind the like shed that was on top of their like in the back of their
Yeah.
property. And he would put the skulls of the animals on top of the crosses and
Yeah.
decorate them all up and
He just really liked
with the
horror.
He would
carcasses.
also like he would also mix and match bones and put shit together to kind of make
That's
artistry a
kind
little
of cool.
bit.
I don't know.
From
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
remember,
well,
That's some real.
yeah,
but he
because he said he had a fascination about how the body parts went
Yeah,
together. That
he was
like
like.
yeah
he was
he
fascinated.
also
That's why
he
his
also
dad
had a bit
didn't
of a
think nothing
fascination with
of
how they
it.
decompose too.
But I just wanted to talk about his dad's name and his middle name, Lionel. Dude, you're just asking to be a serial killer. That name in your
Yeah,
family.
I know. I have a question for you, Mike. Since you before we got
That you're
hopped on
actually
for the
born a
listeners,
Lionel.
we got on about a half hour before recording, and Mike busted out this book. Um,
Yeah, let me
Mike,
grab it real quick.
Mike, can you give us a little show and tell? No, I'm just kidding. You guys
Okay,
can't see
so
anyway.
this actually isn't my book. This is my sister's book, and it's a comic or graphic novel by Durf Back and Durf. Um, Durf Back Durf, which is a great fucking name. It's called My Friend Dahmer. It is a graphic novel written by Jeffrey Dahmer's friend about Jeffrey Dahmer while Jeffrey Dahmer was in high school before he ever committed murder.
So see, that's why. So I didn't know about this book.
Okay.
I just
There,
found
there,
out about this today.
there's
So
actually a really good movie. I enjoyed the movie. I don't know if everyone would. It's a low budget, character driven movie about this source material. And it has who the fuck is that old Disney star? I don't know. It's an old Disney person playing Dahmer. Very well acted, very well directed, good movie.
Yeah, and the novel was great. 2012. I thought that's what I wrote down. So that means the movie came out in
Yeah,
2017.
I I watched the movie and I've read the novel. I watched the movie first because I didn't know this thing existed. And then my sister got it after we watched the movie, um, and it is a bit illuminating just to see how many people failed this kid, this teenager, when there was obvious pleas for help. Now you can't bring it down to other people. You can't lay the blame on other people. You really can't because even if they did help, this motherfucker could have still been sick, tortured, and demented. And that help might have just been just like, okay, cool, and then he would have killed his teacher or something. I don't fucking know. Like, we don't know how far gone Jeffrey Dahmer was at this point in time. We just know how he acted in front of his friends,
I think
or who he thought was his
I
friends.
think people were saying that he
Um,
wasn't sexually attracted to them. I think because I don't think he had like a.
yeah, because even during this time, there's stuff that Jeffrey Dahmer said. His first kill, he was planning in high school, and he stalked a handsome someone he thought was handsome, a runner who would run past his
Yeah.
house every day.
Yeah, he.
And he actually hid in the woods, brought a baseball out, and waited, and was gonna attack him and drag him into the woods and mutilate his body
Yeah, that's
and
a.
have sex with him, mutilate his body. But that day, the runner didn't run by.
Yeah, that's what.
That motherfucker dodged
That's
a
what I was
bullet
reading.
because I don't care how strong or how fit you are. If you get a baseball
That
bat to the back of the head,
Yeah.
hold on, can we pause real quick before we
Yeah,
can continue?
pause
yeah,
because Mike said how attractive
Uh,
that guy was. I'm just kidding. I was saying the thing that people always say.
That no,
Pause.
let's yeah,
It's
we
not
can come
just
back
some
to that
shit.
real quick too.
I'm just kidding.
No, okay. But the reason, because we kind of spiraled away from my point that I was trying to make earlier. Sorry. No, all the stuff was good because Mike was going right where we were headed. Yeah.
I know
Anyway,
I know this shit, man.
but the reason why I asked about the book because in 1975, Dahmer decapitated a dog, and nailed him to a tree, impaling his head on a stick in the woods behind the house as a prank. He brought a friend to showcase his kill under the disguise that he found it like that by chance. Is
That
that
is
in the book?
that is actually not completely accurate. It is not known whether he actually decapitated the dog. What is said is that because he's the only one who was given information on that, and the friend saw it after the fact. He has said he found the dog carcass and then nailed it to a tree. It's not completely known whether he might have he might have actually decapitated, removed the head from the carcass.
Well, then that makes us.
But he,
Yeah,
I don't.
that's what I'm saying. I don't think
Yeah,
he cut the dog's head off
he
while it
didn't
was
kill the
alive.
dog. It was just the wording on that was yeah. It is not known for a fact because we're hearing it from Jeffrey Dahmer himself. Although he killed people, he probably would have came clean about killing a fucking dog. Yeah, so he said he found a dog and he nailed it to a tree and then showed his
Yeah,
friends.
he took credit
But
for all of
see,
his
He-
kills
he-
except for one, which
Yeah.
he doesn't remember doing.
Well, that's why I was wondering because you said this book's about one of his friends wrote this from his.
I read the
back in the day.
I read this book I read this book in like 2017, dude.
Damn.
Like when
Okay.
that movie came out, that's when I read this book. So, if we could back up before this dog, before a lot of these mutilations to back when he had first started to get into the animal stuff, and he was in school, he's being weird. This is before people abandoned him, but something
So you
that
bring up
put
the
him on
tadpoles?
one of the first teacher's radars where they had to dissect a suckling pig. He did
Oh.
it fucking perfectly, apparently, which good for him. A lot of people thought he had a future in science. His dad thought he had a future in science. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of like a scientist myself. Wait, what's the meme go?
I'm a bit of a scientist myself.
There we go. My bad.
Oh,
But he asked to take one of the extra suckling pigs home. The teacher was
Wait,
like, "What?
wait,
I mean, I guess."
my
And I just imagine that, like, he took that home and he's like, I'm gonna like bleach the bones and have the bones. It's gonna be cool. And the teacher is like, I hope this weird kid doesn't fuck that pig.
oh man, he's gonna have fetal
But
fecal
Lord
matter on
knows
his
he
dick.
needs to get laid.
Oh!
You know what I would love to see? A Dahmer movie solely played of all ages by Willem Dafoe, and he just plays him as a all the way up as a little kid. He's just got the the Lopez show. They just put his head on the kid's body, but they just put Willem Dafoe's head on there. You know, I'm somewhat of a scientist myself. Can I take this home? What do you mean I can't take it home?
I can see it.
And then when he gets older and stuff, and they're just freaking out because they over dramatize it because that's
I'm
what they
sorry.
do in
I'm,
movies.
I'm,
You can't keep making up excuses
I'm
for him,
crying
Lionel.
right now.
He's just a kid, and he's all on the porch with Willem Dafoe's head, and he's just like giving some fucking dead bird a fucking weird look.
dude, that had me like in tears.
Fuck.
You know,
The
Dahmer's
moment you
fucking
said
that
like the
pig.
George Lopez show where it's the adult head on the kid body, I went, oh.
I love those. That was my favorite part about that show. Was the fucking when they do the flashback as kids, and he's got his big ass fucking head on that kid's body.
My favorite part of that show was when I woke up in the middle of the night, scared for my life because I thought a Mexican broke into my room, and then I just hear Lowrider in the background. I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
My favorite part was that he's always saying
Yeah.
Sasuke, and I thought that was really cool because I also like Naruto.
Ba-ba-da-ba-ba. Dude, you know what like gives me nightmares even more? The drum fill in that is backwards. No, it is backwards. It goes from low to high, but it's a good song. I like the drums in it.
It's a good song.
That's what made you want
Back
to become a
to-
drummer.
That's what made me
Back
wanna
to
eat.
Dahmer. So I had just talked about the suckling pig. Did you guys? So in this book, one of the things that was brought up quite a bit was his life in high school. Before he seriously started to spiral, and he was kind of a class clown. I don't know if you have any of this written down, Casey, or if you guys knew this, but
Yeah, they said he started
he would-
becoming a class clown when he started drinking heavy because he started.
it At least in this, it was before he spiraled. He might have been drinking, but it was before
Yeah, yeah,
he
yeah.
spiraled out.
That's what I meant. Just because from
Yeah.
what I read, they were saying that he when he started drinking a lot is when he started pulling pranks and he started becoming whatever. Like he started.
He would also impersonate people with Down syndrome or retardation.
Oh damn.
Um,
So he's.
yeah,
You know what's funny
he would do
actually
that.
is they
Or
people are
he
trying to
he would
prove that
also
he had
he would also fit.
Asperger's, which is a weird.
I mean, he might have. I mean, he would also
Oh, he
fake
did eat
seizures.
Asperger's.
But yeah, he would impersonate people with Down syndrome and cerebral
That
palsy.
butt jerky is
Um,
good.
Back in the day, it meant a different thing, dude. People use fucking dumb
Yeah.
slang now, bussy. Back in the day, it was called
Well,
Asperger's.
yeah, I don't know like what disorders these people he was impersonating had because in a lot of stuff that I read it has just said severe retardation,
Yeah, I didn't
and
know
he
the
would
details
impersonate
on that.
them.
I just knew they used to call it a Dahmer or doing a Dahmer. What was it?
Pulling a Dahmer,
Pulling a
yeah,
Dahmer. Yeah.
pulling a Dahmer, yeah.
Did you guys hear about that fucking? I'm not even gonna fucking. Never mind. That's gonna spiral off. Okay,
Let's
Casey.
let's
Yeah,
try not to spiral.
Casey.
Yeah,
Let's get back to your
Casey,
fucking
what we
thing.
got?
Sorry.
Where were we?
I was just talking about how he took a suckling pig home. Oh yeah, and I was saying he used to do things called pulling a Dahmer, where he would imitate severely handicapped, retarded people, and he would also fake
Was
seizures
he
to try
good
to
at
get
it?
laughs.
Was he good at it?
I mean, from what this graphic novel says, yeah, it got people to laugh.
So he could have. So he could have been. They could have saved
That was
this.
the
They could have saved him. They could have recruited him to SNL. He would have been fine.
You imagine him on SNL. He would have killed like fucking who was on SNL in the
Just
Yeah, he
80s?
would have
flopping.
killed anybody.
Chris Farley would have died from not
Fucking-
cocaine but murder.
He would have been fucking Chris Farley and be using his ass as a whoopee cushion while fucking him.
Don't you don't say that.
Chris
You,
Farley.
you don't say that.
That one.
No. No, but yeah, no, he in high school he was a weird dude, and he was thought of as a weird dude. People knew that he was just a little bit off. Um,
Well, that-
and he was
that's what
doing
they
these
that's what
things,
they would
and
say about gay people
and
back then.
well,
too, though.
here's the
It's like,
thing
yeah,
about
he's a little odd.
these pranks or jokes that he would do. It got him friends, and it got him attention. It got him people to like him, even though he's a weird guy.
It's charismatic.
Yeah, just
He was
like
probably
just like
done it-
Matthew
he-
made just
he-
like Matthew made friends in school by calling teachers names. I'm just
But
kidding.
but yeah,
I don't think you hit it.
he made friends by becoming the class clown. And he continued to be that class clown until he started not being that funny when he became just more depressing, and he was pretty much drunk and drinking at all times,
Reality
and would
caught up to him.
bring
Yeah.
bring packs of beer into school and just drink them.
Flask in his locker.
It was like when
and
when he was
this-
new to getting drunk.
well,
he was
thi-
probably
this-
in that
think
like
Casey
honeymoon
got
phase of it.
Here's what happened: was he spiraled out into alcoholic behavior after his mom left. His mom left his dad, and then it was just him and his dad, and then his dad was gone a lot of the time. Right? Right? Am I right on that?
Yeah, well, his parents got a divorce because his mom was having an affair.
Oh, she was having
And
an
then
affair.
The dad, yeah,
Damn.
and then the dad decided
I
to
hope she
move
got
out of
a
the house after
bracelet for that
that.
all ticket ride.
Well, at this point,
After they separated.
yeah, that's why he was able to drink so much is because he was unsupervised. And during this time that he was unsupervised, he was failing in school. Teachers had tried to reach out, wasn't working, and teachers essentially just gave up on him and were just letting him drink at his desk. He would just bring a six-pack in, plop it on the
I
fucking
wish I
table, and
had
start
cool
drinking.
teachers like that in school.
Yeah.
Maybe I
Yeah,
would have turned
right?
out famous
Um, Well, the teachers that gave up on him.
too.
I'd either have been in the entertainment business or in the serial killing one. It only
The,
goes one or two
the
ways.
teachers that
Somebody's
the
gonna be
teachers that
paying
gave up
attention
on
to me, that's
him,
for sure.
and then he dropped out of high school and just started doing nothing but working out and drinking at his house and just completely thrashed the house.
Frat party
The
of
house
one.
was fucking yeah, the house was fucking disgusting. He spiraled out into himself.
Dahmer graduated high school.
I thought he dropped out.
No,
He actually graduated?
He went. He
Okay,
did go to.
so I was
he
wrong
did go
there.
to college for a while too. Didn't he? His dad told him he needed whatever. Didn't he go to a college?
Okay, here's what
Oh yeah,
happened.
yeah, he did go to college.
He went to college, but he also dropped out.
Yeah, yeah. He didn't graduate.
And in
Yeah, he
between
dropped out of
in between
college.
high
No,
school
he
and
Willy
college,
Wonka. But we'll wait till we get to
he
that.
was staying at his house, and he absolutely thrashed the place. I don't know when the first murder comes in. It might have been before or after college, but his dad showed up and was like,
It
"What
was
the
when he was
fuck is going on
18.
here?" And then was like,
Wasn't it?
"You need to fucking go to college." And then he dropped out of college, and so his dad sent him into the military. I don't know exactly
I
where
can
the
I
first.
can tell you right now.
Yeah.
Dude, the military shit's
Let's hear it.
crazy. Let's
So
get. Let's continue. Get
Well,
these
well,
attacks.
well,
when does
let's
the
before the
Part of
military.
shit.
Let's get back
The
to
military thing's
so
insane.
when did he pick up the hitchhiker?
That was when he was 18,
that's
I
what
would
I was
think,
gonna.
right? Or was he older than 18?
Yeah, so that's in the spring of him graduate after he graduated.
Okay.
Um, Dahmer just turned 18. He remained in his family home and sorry, he remained in the family's home and Dahmer's first murder was in 1978, 3 weeks after his graduation, on June 18th. Dahmer picked up a hitchhiker named Stephen Mark Hicks, who was almost 19, and he murdered him. And then 6 weeks after he murdered Hicks, Dahmer's father and his fiance returned home, and they discovered Dahmer living alone. And enrolled him into the Ohio State University to major in business. And then the whole
Hold on.
time,
Hold on. Let me stop you there. So, in that spring, when he picked up Stephen Hicks, what happened was he was cruising through the neighborhood and happened to see a
cruising down the
how
street with his 6'4".
I
he
figured
was
you were gonna say
yes
that shit.
he was cruising down the street with his 6'4". He
Talking to
happened to see
bitches.
Stephen Hicks
Wait, what?
walking w- walking, trying to hitchhike because Stephen Hicks was trying to get to a concert. So he picked him up and he was like, "Hey, I'll get you to the concert, but I have weed and beer. Do you want to come hang out for a bit?" Stephen
The
Hicks
weed
was
and
like,
beer.
"Yeah, let's do that." And so they went back to his place where they smoked weed, drank beer, and lifted weights. And then Jeffrey Dahmer tried to come on to him, to which he went, "What the fuck, bro? I ain't gay." To
I'm
which
mad
he
straight.
went, "Oh shit,
I gotta head out.
sorry." And then Stephen Hicks tried to leave, and so he picked up one of the dumbbells and hit him over the head with it, thinking that he killed him in this act of aggression because he didn't want him to leave. He was afraid of abandonment after his mom left, and and then it turns out Stephen Hicks didn't die from that. So Jeffrey Dahmer finished him off by strangling him to death. To which, after that point, Jeffrey Dahmer then
Realize, dude, this
broke
gives
down
me
his
a
body,
hard on.
broke down his body in the bathtub, um, stripped the meat off with a bleach solution, just like he learned how to do with his animals, and then broke up all the bones and mixed it into the gravel around his
Yeah,
yard.
that's what I heard. He sprinkled the bashed up bones across his yard.
Yeah, he roasted the bones in his oven and then bashed them up in a bag and, then sprinkled them in his
and
yard.
that he also said that
But
because
like,
most serial
here's the
killers
weird.
don't like the cleanup
Here,
process. Apparently,
yeah.
that's what he enjoyed the most was like the precise.
Well,
cleanup.
here's the thing. He
Oh,
didn't
he
do
was
that
OCD.
immediately. He stored the body underneath his house for like a week.
Oh, for the first one.
Until it started to smell, and then he gathered it up into bags and was going to drop it somewhere, and he got pulled over by a cop with the body in the bags.
Damn.
And he was
How
drunk.
can I help you?
And then the cop dismissed him, so he drove home, hid the
Dude,
body back under his house, and then
Everybody
broke
thinks
it down.
He was slick. It's like, man, he must have been really charismatic. It's like, no, all these
cops
cops
didn't
He
do
was
sound
lucky.
like
He was
fucking
lucky.
idiots. All these cops sound
Yeah.
like
Hey.
idiots.
Let you read.
I know it didn't work for y'all, but having blonde hair and blue eyes does work for me.
Yeah,
Damn.
dude. I just last week I had a dude fucking butt fucked bound in my trunk.
Fuck. But yeah, so back to college. Sorry, Casey.
Nothing. He was just a shit student, failing all his classes.
Shit.
He did
Well, that
he did
that
get
wasn't the
a B
extent.
minus in riflery, so that's cool, you know. But
That wasn't the extent of it. He drank himself out of college.
Yeah, he dropped out within just 3 months.
Sounds like me.
And
But
his dad already paid for his second term in
yeah.
advance too, and that was just wasted.
Doesn't sound
So
like
His
me.
biggest
Dude.
problem, the reason he was failing was his classes was he was a severe alcoholic.
Yeah, he
He
had a
was he was
drinking
not
problem.
he wasn't like me. He wasn't a functioning alcoholic.
Yeah, that's what I was
Um,
trying to say before. Because he fucking
or like us,
became,
I should say.
because he delved so deep into alcoholism at a very young age. People were trying to say that that also alters your brain. Like to get like that before your brain's fully developed could have had a fucking a hand in the way he fucking acts towards
I
people.
mean, I've been drinking since I was like 12, and I haven't felt any need to
Well, but
bash someone's brain in.
he already had the showings of it prior. Since
Oh
they
yeah.
were saying since like 4 years old, he had fucking weird fascinations with shit like that, like body.
Well,
Yeah.
when how old was he when the hernia shit happened? Because that's
Oh,
when shit started to
I have
manifest.
no idea. I just kept seeing the fucking age 4 bounce around a lot. Um,
Hmm.
but also the fact is too that apparently he stated that he couldn't do any of the stuff he did to bodies without drinking first. Like he had to be hammered to do it, which makes sense because every time he's done anything, he's fucking shit faced.
So he probably had a
That
multi-personality
wasn't the
somewhat.
means. He said that
I don't I think that's
the
I
murder was a
think
means to an end.
well here's the
He just wanted
I
a
highly
lifeless.
doubt
He
that.
wanted a
I think that was an excuse he did because he was breaking down animal corpses sober when he was young.
Yeah, but I think because he had a sexual thrill for it. I don't know. Like, I think he didn't fucking fully develop because when you're younger, you start to see that you like stuff and not realize it, and then after puberty, you start getting a system down to what you like.
You
Like
made a
everybody has
flashlight
kinks.
out of a
His
raccoon.
was
Nope.
zombies. Was a body that would bend to his fucking will. Because I'm pretty sure that he's quoted saying shit like, "All I
It was a
wanted was a
power thing.
spark."
That
He
didn't
just
develop
wanted
until
power.
later,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
he did have a
He
he
wanted
did have a
to.
fascination with necrophilia.
yeah. But
Well, yeah,
I think he was working. I think he was workshopping stuff until he realized that
yeah. So
The
he's
the
been
really
zombie thing
workshopping
didn't
shit.
what he really liked was
the
the
zombie
sexual, like fucking.
the zombie thing didn't develop until later, when he had already been sexually active and he realized that he doesn't like people moving when when he started
Yeah,
using a
he
mannequin.
wanted a yeah. That's what I'm thinking. He just workshop shit, but I don't know. I seen the podcast I was listening to, and then something else I was reading that he said, and apparently victims' families started trying to sue Budweiser over it, saying that
Not
their
Fucking
Milwaukee's
advertisements
best.
caused their families to be fucking whatever because he was quoted about saying that it was like he couldn't do any of that shit without drinking first, and that it was really just a means to an end.
Ah,
that's a fucking
But it could
lie.
be,
I
yeah, it
think
could
that
be.
was
I mean, it
trying
could be a cop out.
that was
Bud
him
wouldn't be
trying to
Bud
make
without their controversial
I feel
advertisements.
like I feel like that was him on the
I'm
stand
just kidding. We should cut
trying to
that.
humanize himself because dude,
It could be, but
yes,
I mean, he
by
openly
the time he
admitted
killed a person, he was a severe alcoholic.
most
But
serial killers.
he was already breaking down animals before he was an alcoholic,
Yeah,
before he
that's
was
true
drinking.
too. I
So
mean,
I
he
don't
could just
believe
be
any of
talking
that at
out of
all.
his ass.
I think
He
that's
seemed to
just
like to
something
be
that he
heard
said
too, because I
to
mean,
try to get sympathy.
60 hours of confessions. Um, yeah, his whole fucking because most serial killers wouldn't like it would take whatever, and he just oddly just like admitted to everything, and he asked for forgiveness, like and whatever.
Actually, a lot of serial killers do admit a lot
Oh,
of
do they?
stuff. They're proud of their
They were
kills.
saying it was weird with him though because he
Dude,
seemed
fucking
fully responsible for everything.
one of the
Like he was fully in
one of
control.
the smartest serial killers to ever do it. Um, he
Oh wait, wait,
admitted
wait.
to
It
kills,
was always trying to
but
blame
did not
something
admit to
else,
kills.
blaming some other
So
entity or blaming something.
Ted Bundy, because he also studied criminology and stuff like that. He admitted to kills by saying, "Well, if I was this killer, this is what I would do."
Hmm. I think that it does
Yeah.
say
He
majority.
never said
What made it
he never said
fascinating?
he did it. He helped the FBI catch other killers. He said, "If I was this
Yeah.
killer, this is what I would do."
I think what made it like a fascination from I was listening to
So like
a podcast and they were talking about
like dude, Will Graham from Hannibal Lecter is based off of Ted Bundy.
that's what I'm saying is the whole fucking that whole fucking thing. People were fascinated, and then to see an actual killer that fucking whatever. People were eager to fucking see
Like
Dahmer. They
uh,
say Dahmer is the
wi-
one that got people
like with
intrigued by
Dahmer,
serial killers.
all this all this stuff where it's like, oh, it's so highbrow. Anything that you think with Dahmer that you think is like a highbrow or interesting or smart theory. It's not. Dahmer was fucking stupid. He had
But
extremely.
yeah,
He was not a
he
smart
wasn't. That's
guy.
what I'm saying. The cops
He had
around him were fucking.
he had a pretty low IQ. He was not a functioning alcoholic. He was an extremely broken man
Yeah, and from
who
what I
did
heard,
horrible
I
things.
mean, a lot of his shit, he just mootsed off his dad and his grandma a lot. It's just basically.
Dude, the only reason he got away with a lot of stuff that he did was because the cops sucked around his
Yeah,
area.
and the
But
fact that
he lived in a poor fucking area where the cops didn't care.
homosexuality was such a fucking taboo thing, like it would disgust people to the point where it's like they turn a
Also,
blind eye. I made a joke to one of
I
my
don't mean to sound
coworkers today, where I was just like, "That's not really my place. Why don't you get one of those village people dressed like a cop? That's more up your alley."
I don't mean to sound super racist, but he lived in a largely minority populated area, which the cops didn't care
No,
about,
they did not
and
back
he
then.
knew
No.
this. He knew
If
this.
you watched,
It's like
about that
that, dude.
Candyman
That's where
remake, even with
that's where like
that,
the
it's crazy
systemic
they didn't do that.
racism comes in,
But
is
yeah, nobody's
especially
looking
in
at
that.
that. They bring a lot of
Like, dude, even good people who were not criminals were killed by him, and it was dismissed because of systemic racism in that area.
yeah. I mean, that makes
Yeah.
sense. I forgot a lot of his for a minute there that a lot of his victims were black. I didn't know that until that fucking
Black,
Netflix.
Asian,
Yeah,
Filipino,
Filipino.
Mexican.
Wait, was it Filipino or late? Oh wait, no.
There was a
Yeah.
Filipino. Oh, but yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
he preyed on minorities, and he lived in that area. The cops didn't care.
Yeah.
You know what the cops were doing in that area? They were busting people for drugs and fucking hooking. When they catch the fucking gay dude and his boyfriend, or so they thought his boyfriend, they went, "We're keeping our shit out of this."
That's why I was saying. That's why I was saying the fucking. That's not really up my
But
alley. That's
so
uncomfortable. As fuck.
after he got out of the military, he went to live with his grandma, right?
Wait, did you have details about the military thing?
He dishonorably
Just a little bit.
discharged for drinking.
Yeah, but he raped several people while in service. There was one guy that
he?
yeah,
I didn't know about that.
yeah, he raped there was a
Is
17-year-old
this
in
is
service.
this confirmed or?
I read multiple things. He that apparently this guy he would tell him whatever, and then like he would beat on the guy and rape him, and he told people, and they tried to do a rape kit on him, and then he didn't get the results, just to find out the military like got rid of the rape kit thing, like they weren't doing it anymore, and then he eventually got the dishonorable discharge for fucking drinking or whatever the fuck. But apparently he raped multiple people overseas because he went to Germany or some shit. But he raped the same guy multiple times. I mean, unless he came out with the story afterwards and was just trying to get attention. But from what he said, he jumped out
Was
of
it rape or was sodomy? Was it rape or was sodomy just still illegal in Germany at this point?
I don't know. He was an American soldier, but he said he jumped out a 3-story window or off the 3rd-story window to get away from him one time. That he had like bruises, everything, like he was beaten on.
That sounds like a rape.
Yeah, that's it. He complained multiple times, but apparently the military just kept keeping them together, and then did nothing about it. They did a rape kit on his ass, I
America
guess.
protects
But
America protects its own, I guess.
yeah, I don't know. I just heard this in I might be botching some of the fucking details about like the abuse, but
But
he
so
I
he
heard
gets-
it in Times Suck with Dan Gibbons. I don't
Yeah.
know. He was talking about it, but he had a whole fucking segment on his podcast talking about like multiple rapes, and then I read somewhere else. I don't know the exact number, but he was accused of like several rapes while in the military when he was
Oh, I'm
stationed in
sure.
Germany.
once
But
a rapist, always
no
a rapist.
murder, just straight rape, like just abuse and rape.
A lot of
Obviously,
his
that's
murders came from his own trying to get his own sexual gratification or trying to keep people where they were. But so he got discharged from the military dishonorably, and then called his dad. Said he got discharged. His dad picked him up. Said you can't live with us, so he went and stayed with his grandma.
Yo, good old
Now,
grandma.
at his grandma's is where he actually, started mingling with the gay community and bringing men home, but 2 also killed multiple people. Casey, will you give us the details on that?
Well, I can give you the details of his murders if you like.
Yeah. Well, honestly, oh, hold on. He also did this. I don't know the dates and times of these murders, which is why I asked Casey because Casey has the numbers. But while he was staying at his grandma's, he also stole a mannequin and would
Yeah,
fondle it and fuck with it.
his grandma got mad about that. She didn't she like demand him to get rid of it or some shit.
Yeah, she was like, "This is fucking weird, bro.
Yeah,
Stop it."
get this thing out of
Which is
Granny.
fair.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
tough but fair.
If one of my kids started fondling a mannequin, like stole a mannequin from a store and
Yeah,
started
I heard.
fondling it,
I
it was
heard he
like
broke out the window drunk and
you
stole the
are going
mannequin.
to the hospital. I've seen this stuff before. Sorry.
I want to know
I know
how
what
he
Dahmer
fucked
did.
it. Did he just like dry hump the fucking sides of it?
He apparently what he would do is he'd like rub the pecs and masturbate at the same time.
That's so fucking weird.
I've read a lot of stuff.
It's just that's
But
it's weird in
he would
multiple ways, but also how is that
he,
enough?
well, he was just one super infatuated by the male body, and so him just
Yeah, that's
staring at
right.
it
The
would be
physique.
good enough for him. But him feeling it and then he would cuddle
I
it.
know he
He'd
liked
sleep with it.
biceps and fucking other shit, like fucking just like obsessed with specific body parts, which is probably why he wanted to fuck that fucking runner so bad. Physically fit men. So Chris
I
Farley
had this
would have
piece
been
of
okay.
meat stuck in my teeth for hella long. I just got it out.
I hope it's not a dead person. Did you eat your wife? You're like, yeah, but
Yeah.
not in the way you think.
So, in total, Dahmer had he had 17 victims. We touched base on Stephen Hicks. He was the hitchhiker, his first victim. That happened on June 18th, 1978. Stephen Hicks was last seen hitchhiking to a rock concert in Chippewa Lake
That's in
Park
high school.
in Bath, Ohio. Yeah, this is before he went to
Yeah, I
military.
covered that one. That's the one he killed with the weight. I covered
Yeah,
Stephen
yeah.
Hicks.
Yeah, no, that's what I was saying. We touched base on him. I was just
Okay,
giving
cool.
the dates and stuff. Yeah. So his next kill wouldn't be until a little bit later. His next one would be in 1987. It would be Stephen Walter Tunami.
Tsunami was
Isn't
Sorry,
it
that
like
sounds.
Tulami or something like? There's an L in there, right?
No, it's
Is-
Tuomi.
Okay, to me.
Yeah, that's to me. That's why I wasn't sure how it's pronounced. Um, he was killed in a rented room at the Ambassador Hotel in Milwaukee. Dahmer claimed to have had no memory of murdering him,
Yeah,
yet stated that he had battered him to death in a drunken stupor. His body was dismembered in the basement of Dahmer's grandmother's house, and the remains discarded in the trash. And he said he got rid of the remains in the trash, and then obviously no body was ever found.
yeah. See, I thought there was something about that one where he was talking about he like blacked out. It didn't mean to do it or got too fucked up. Something along those lines. Like he didn't like take credit the same way he took credit with the other ones or some shit. Like I mean, he
Yeah,
still took credit for it or whatever, but I don't know. He was like he stressed that one was an accident.
but that one would happen 9 years after his first
Yeah,
murder.
there was that big fucking gap between them.
And then his after Stephen, there was James Edward Doxonator. His 1988, just a year
He
later.
sounds like a superhero.
Yeah, I know, right? That's the Doxonator.
Dogs.
The
Uh,
Doxinator. He doxes people, dude. Fucking Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift hates that
Oh,
guy.
I thought you were going the other route, like he was docking with people, which is an urban dictionary term. Where
Oh man,
two
no,
guys
like
stick their
doxing,
dick in the
revealing
same
people's
orifice. Or I
locations.
guess it would one would already.
You know how Taylor Swift is like suing that one person who like released her like jet logs? Yeah. Oh,
No,
well.
I 100% thought you were going the
Yeah,
Joseph route.
the
that he
urban,
was
urban
talking
dictionary
about.
was just
Docking?
going around.
Wow,
docking.
y'all are a bunch of perverts, man.
This is out here sharing foreskin with people.
You out here just giving out your turtleneck to everybody.
so,
Like, I don't.
so was that one of the? Which one was that? Or you're about to get to his kill method, right?
Well, I'm just getting into his the kills themselves. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So
They all.
this one's his third that we're getting into. This is
Yeah,
so the first.
the second one he strangled in his or supposedly in his sleep and woke up with him dead, stuffed him into a suitcase, right?
Oh, see, I don't have super details like that.
Okay, so the second guy, what happened was he woke up
Saying
in that
super
hotel room and the
stupid.
guy was dead. There was bruises all over the guy's body and bruises around the guy's neck. So he obviously beat him and strangled him to death. And so he stuffed him into a suitcase and stuck him outside the hotel.
You forgot one important detail. There was a hickey on his dick. I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
I was just picking that one
probably.
up.
I mean, dude, like you're like saying these as jokes, but these are probably just facts.
These
Like they're
probably
gay,
are.
dude. That's what they're
You
doing.
can't putting hickeys on dicks. Is that what gay people do? Damn, dude's just out here fucking pecker hicking.
You're like his butthole was loose. It's like, yeah,
Oh, you know
probably
what
it was.
you know what it's called? That there's a Hummer hickey.
But
A
yeah,
hickey
he
Hummer. Damn,
stuffed
I
him
don't
into
know.
a suitcase, and then I believe he stored him in the fruit cellar of his grandma's house before he broke him down. Continue.
What's it called? So in 1988, a year later, that's what the Mr. Doxinator. Uh,
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
he met he.
Vaccinator.
Oh, hold on. Let me go back. So the last guy, he was at the age of 25. So this next guy, Doxinator, he was 14. So this is a child.
Oh yeah, there's.
Is this one of the
So
ones that he tricked into doing pictures for him?
He did that a lot. Oddly
I'll tell
enough,
you in one sec.
that pedophile
He
like
met
Xavier
he.
does the same thing. He lures people in saying that he does modeling shit, and he tries to get them to take
He got that peen,
pictures.
bro.
He tried to get me to do it. I
Sorry.
don't think he was gonna
Yeah,
fucking
this is one of them.
wear my skin or eat it or whatever the fuck. I know Dahmer didn't wear
Sorry to clear my throat, but
I'm sure
so
you
he-
did.
So
After you
foreskin
went
because he was a classic docker. Sorry, Gary.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
no, so James met Dahmer outside of a gay bar in Wisconsin,
Wisconsin, yeah.
Wisconsin,
You always
and
have to
he
say Wisconsin because
We
it
got
rhymes with
delicious ass
mansion.
jerky. Continue.
Wisconsin. Uh, he was he was lured in by under the pretext of earning $50 for posing for nude photos. Dahmer then
Oh,
strangled him and kept
I,
him in the body of the basement for a week before dismembering him and discarding him in the
so
trash.
both these two
When does
guys.
the head
Hold
and
on.
dick start
Both
becoming
these.
a thing? Because he was like keeping heads and
Both.
dicks.
No, this is it, this comes later.
Okay.
Both these two
Later.
guys, they were dismembered in the fruit cellar because there was a drain in the fruit cellar, and actually his grandma started saying, "Why does our drain smell like dead, dead animals? What the fuck are you doing down there?" Like his grandma was starting to get upset that the basement started smelling like death all the time.
Nothing, Grandma. It's just my art. God.
I'm sorry. Continue. I'm just trying
Okay.
to add. I'm just trying to add the facts that I know
The fact
when I
of
hear 'em.
life.
Oh no, you're good. Next feller we got on the list, Richard Guerrero, March 24th, 1988, at the age of 22. He was drugged and strangled in Dahmer's bedroom in Dahmer dismembered Guerrero's corpse in
Okay,
the
so
basement, dissolved his
this
flesh in acid, and disposed of his bones in the trash. He bleached and retained the skull for several months before
he
disposing of it.
he would pour the acid soup down the drain in the cellar, which is why it smelled the way it did. And I don't know any better way to describe it other than acid soup. But he would pour it down the drain in the fruit cellar. So this is also when he started to develop his MO. Dahmer's MO would be that he would invite people over for drinks, and then he would drug their drink, and then do shit to them, whether it be rape, murder, or experimentation. With this guy, he was obviously just murder. He might have been raped. I don't know. He turned into bones after this, but this is Dahmer's MO. Was he would bring you back, ask you if you want a beer, and then drug your beer. He'd roofie you. Unlike Rufio, who would just liberate you from pirates.
Yeah.
But let's get back to it. Hell yeah,
Let's
Dante
see.
Boss, you're a hero.
Anthony Lee Sears, March 25th, 1989, at the age of 24. Sears was the last victim to be drugged and strangled at Dahmer's grandmother's residence. He was also the first victim from whom Dahmer permanently retained any body parts. He preserved the skulls and genitals were found in a filing cabinet
That's-
at 924 North 25th Street following Dahmer's arrest in 1991.
I love your rhyming skills
So
there.
here's
Skulls
the
and
other thing is
genitals.
there was at least one victim at Dahmer's grandma's house who, after he was drugged, he stayed awake and talked to Dahmer's grandma before passing out. To which
You're a nice boy.
his
I
grandma
hope
was
my
like, "What the
grandson doesn't
what the?"
make soup of you.
No, hold on, no, because like the next morning, like she had
Can I
told
get the
Dahmer he
cat
needs to get
asshole
home.
out of here?
He seems like, or she was telling Dahmer that he needs to go to the hospital. Something's wrong with him. He seems like he's overdosing on or something like that. He needs to go to the hospital. And he's like, "Grandma, I got it. Go to bed." Next morning, the guy was gone. He's like, "Oh yeah, I sent him off. He died. Yeah.
So-
He was decomposing in the basement.
I was heavily
I don't know
distracted
what.
because
I don't know which one it was. I was hoping you were gonna say something about it because I forget which person it was that he killed during this time that actually almost got sent to the hospital because of Dahmer's grandma. But Dahmer's grandma was also really having a problem with not only the smell from his room, the mannequin in his room, but the smell from the fucking basement. And she called his father multiple times about this.
I got distracted because
Should have probably called the fucking
Matthew
cops.
put cat butthole
But
on his screen.
to continue,
Matthew's cat.
Casey,
Yes.
So the next four all happened in the same year in 1990.
was this when he went out on his own and got his first apartment?
Uh,
Or was
yes.
this at okay,
Yes,
cool.
yes.
So not cool, but it's
Awesome.
when
So
he
this is
left
what
his
he did there.
grandma's. So multiple of these bodies, he actually did break up the bones and then throw them under the crawl space in the house of his grandma's house. So a lot of bones were spread out through the yard and in the crawl space because he did the same thing. But he did keep some trophies at his grandma's house, being skulls, genitalia.
And tongues. No, I'm just kidding. So in 1990, Raymond Smith, on May 20th, at the age of 32, he was also known by the name of Ricky Beeks. He
Man,
was the
he
first
did, huh?
victim to be killed at Dahmer's new North 25th Street apartment. Smith was a male sex worker who Dahmer encountered at a tavern. Dahmer
Oh,
gave
fancy.
Smith a drink laced with sleeping pills and strangled him on the kitchen floor. His skull was spray painted and retained.
Oh yeah, he spray painted it gray or some shit, didn't he?
I don't know what color he did.
What
So
was the guy's
was
name
this so
again?
one of
Raymond
Dahmer
Smith.
Raymond
when
Smith.
Dahmer got out on his own from his grandma, he felt fully free to start going to gay clubs.
This
Is
is
what he did, and so he would go to gay clubs and he would pick up men until he got banned from those gay clubs because he kept drugging those fucking men.
yeah, and that's what I had an interesting one with Raymond Smith there. So apparently, oh, the way that I wrote it down. God damn it. Okay, so
Sensually.
he this is a week after so a week after that he picked up a he picked up a guy and when he went to spike the drink, he mixed the drinks around and he fucking spiked himself and fucking passed out. The guy fucking picked up on it, realized what he did, and he robbed him for $300 and a watch. This was like a week after. I had a date for it. I thought. Um, Oh yeah. Yeah, the guy was a pedophile. Um. So yeah. Okay. So yeah. So this is what I wrote just to fucking because I kind of made it choppy, but I was there was one instance where he invited a man back to his place and accidentally drank the uh
There's a
there I was yeah there was once an incident where he invited a man back to his place and accidentally drank the spike drink that was intended for the victim.
oh yeah.
He ended up passing out and getting robbed for $300 and a watch. The shit was weird because a week prior was that Raymond Smith guy who he fucking killed and kept the fucking the the bones fucking around his place and the head in the fucking fridge or wherever the fuck it was. He took boning to the whole
Yeah.
different fucking meaning with this guy, but
Oh my god.
it just
Dude, honestly,
it was
I hate to sound like a piece of shit, but I kind of wish Dahmer was raped that night too.
no, and there's another one too. But wait, 1 second. But it's just crazy because this guy who robbed him probably opened his fridge. Because tell me, if you were robbing someone, you wouldn't open their fridge. You would have seen that fucking head in there.
I
I think that's
wouldn't.
where the head was. I would have. My fat ass would have.
It was in
Matthew, I
the
know
it was
you
in the
would.
freezer.
It was in the freezer. Yeah, Matthew, I know you would
Dude,
fucking look in the
dude,
fridge
you want to
too.
hear something fucked up?
Like if you're
So
robbing
the
a
first
guy's
time that
house,
I
and it's like if you see the
so
head,
I
you can't flip out.
Hey, give
dude,
me your
you want
fucking cheese sticks.
you want to hear something fucked up?
Yeah,
So
yeah, it's
I had
like
heard
meat
about
and hear what he got in there.
I had heard about Jeffrey Dahmer a little bit when I was younger, but the
Hashtag
first time I heard
cootery in this bitch.
the first time I heard about him
Your
keeping
dad
heads
was
and
Raymond
trophies and
Smith?
stuff
Just kidding.
was from my fifth grade teacher, English teacher, who told me about Jeffrey Dahmer keeping heads in his freezer.
Damn. They did a
Told the
thing of
class
that on
that.
It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Dennis.
You
I
were
hope
looking
that
for
when
that
that
serial
show ends,
killer and there was a
I hope when that
prison.
show ends, they say that every character that disappeared, Dennis killed.
That would be great. Um, so apparently there was a time at the bar. He was talking to this older guy. I think he was like 30 or fucking in his 40, like in between there.
Matt.
Apparently, he got drunk, blacked out, and when he came to the next day, the dude was sodomizing him with a fucking candlestick. And
Jack
I
be
think
nimble,
there's
Jack be quick.
God damn it, you beat me to it. That's what I wrote. I think there's a nursery rhyme for that. Jack be nimble, Jack be quick. Jack got blacked out drunk and fucked with a candlestick.
Dude,
You finished it though.
I hope
That's
he
what's
didn't. I did.
important.
I hope he didn't buy those
Matthew,
candles
damn,
at the
see,
Dollar Tree
look,
because
me and Matthew, great minds
because
think
then
alike.
you're
You went
being
straight
then
to
you're being my
Jack.
dude. If they bought those candles at the Dollar Tree, fuck. God
I
damn
also
it.
wrote it
God
could have
damn
been
it, my
worse because if
fucking
it was
joke.
modern time, it could have been a girthy wax melt. But no, I got the article thing.
Dude,
That
if it was Dollar Tree and it was Dollar Tree candles, then he was being fucked by Jesus and Mary.
Oh yeah, I've seen those candles.
um
Same ones at Food
yeah,
Max.
the fucking the Mexican candles with the fucking.
Hashtag jar squatter. There's
So
glass around
let me
those.
find the thing.
puppies.
This is what Dahmer said. Okay, Dahmer stated that during the time he was committing offenses, he had been incarcerated in the House of Corrections for the offense of taking photographs of a minor. I also wrote that one down. Uh, Come on. He
Dude,
stated that
that
during
minor.
his day past, he was
Oh.
ashamed to face his family, who were gathered at his grandmother's house in West Allis for Thanksgiving dinner, and that after dinner he left the residence and went to a local West Allis tavern, where he began to drink heavily. He stated after he became intoxicated, he ended up down in the homosexual gay area of Milwaukee, that being 200 South 2nd Street, and bar hopped from bar to bar. He stated he is unsure, but he feels that this time he entered the 219 Club, where he ended up sitting next to an older white male, approximately 35 to 40 years old. That's what it was.
Don't say older white male, 35 to 45.
Yeah, that's all fucked up.
Motherfuckers.
Who had dark, curlyish, shoulder-length hair and a beard. He stated the two talked and drank heavily, and that he Dahmer, he being Dahmer, apparently blacked out because of overindulgence in alcohol. He stated he recalls waking up the next morning and he was at a strange apartment. He stated that at this time he was hogtied. He described this as being tied behind his back, or his hands tied behind his back, and then suspended by hooks and ropes from the ceiling, and that both his legs were separated and tied and also elevated, and that the suspect described earlier that he had met at 219 Club was using a white striped candle and placing it in his anal area. He stated that when he realized what was happening, he began screaming and swearing at the suspect, demanding that he be cut down and let go. He stated the suspect did cut him down, and he quickly grabbed his clothing and attempted to leave the apartment. When the suspect attempted to stop him and stated, "What's your hurry? Let's stop and talk about this."
Hey, I will
That's the
say this:
last time
karma
I
is
fall
a
asleep during a
car.
candle making class.
I got that I don't know exactly, but it was something that
Yo,
he stated,
karma is a bitch,
and it
dude.
was from imgur.com. So that was just a direct quote from the page on imgur.com. It's all printed out with like fucking official
So,
writing at the
dude,
bottom and
you
everything
brought
too.
up that 14-year-old that he went to jail for taking pictures of
He's
him,
like, wait, let's calm down.
right?
Let's talk about this. It's like, no,
Hold
motherfucker,
on.
you had me up on some kind of fucking MacGyver
Jo-
sex swing, and you're fucking me with a
okay,
candle.
actually, I will get to this thing when we get to it. Casey, can you continue?
I'm sorry, that's just the way.
Yeah.
That's a talk about getting what you deserve. But like that, and then fucking
Yeah,
spiking
quite.
himself.
Like,
That's just
damn.
proof that he's not a very smart man. He was a fucking.
No,
He was a
he was
fumbling
very like
alcoholic.
you could tell that he was very reckless. That
Yeah, it was because he
he
was gay
Dude,
in
the
a part of town.
Dahmer only got away with the shit
Yeah,
he got away with because he was extremely fucking lucky.
yeah.
yeah. He lived in a part of town, like you were saying,
Like, dude, we are
where
going
it was.
to go through all the
He
failures of
I
police
wonder, dude, I
officers.
wonder if he wanted what happened, what he did to people that happened to him because how reckless he was, and anyone that was in his company just as reckless suffered that fate.
He
So I wonder
apparently
if
he
he
apparently
tried
stated
to
that
self
he would.
sabotage himself and hope he'd end up in the same hands
He
as
did
someone just
not.
like
He did
himself.
not self
No,
sabotage.
no, in the sense he did self sabotage as far as being an alcoholic. He drank more than he could
He got
because he was trying
reckless
to
on the last
suppress.
one.
He got reckless. And so I wonder if he felt some kind of guilt in some which way that the reason why he drank as much as he did and he was belligerent and got reckless was hope that he'd fall in the same hands of someone just like himself.
That's what
Because
from what I
statistically, wouldn't that have happened in that general area? But not really, because that's not really how it works. But
from what
like,
I heard, he said that he would hope the families forgave him, and that if he could take his own life to bring them back, he would. That he was a slave to his own fucking like
he was
pleasure, pretty much.
crazy. He was
But I don't
crazy.
know. I didn't hear him actually physically say it. There was a video clip thing, but I didn't watch it.
It's probably
But
why he
apparently,
became
but nobody
why
believed
he
him because
lost
his
control.
tone of voice was very insincere. Like it's like one fucking tone, and he's
When
just
people
like
say insincere,
robotic.
he's just like yeah, he's like being like he's
He
being
took
like
full responsibility, and he's like, "Yeah, what I did was fucked
yeah.
up."
I mean, he
But
definitely had
it's what I
Asperger's.
like.
He was being analytic and that kind of thing, and he was just wanting to be like, hey, like this is what I deserve, kind of thing. I think, and
Oh, you
it's
caught me.
just it
Can
Sorry
wasn't
we?
about
any
it.
like
Hey,
it was without
can we?
emotion
He was
that
like,
he
"Sorry about
responded
it."
that way. Like yeah, he
Yeah,
just
can we rewind a little bit?
I guess if you're into sick shit,
Well, it's like
I'm just
I have my
kidding.
opinion. I have my opinions on that, and I've been trying not to get too far ahead.
Mm.
Do it.
I don't know.
All right, well,
I don't know what. Yeah, Casey, what you got?
we have been all over the place this entire time.
Yeah,
Oh
we
no,
have.
you guys are good. The next murder victim would be Edward Smith on June 14th, 1990, at the age of 27. He was a known acquaintance of
Join the
Dahmer,
club.
who was last seen in this company at a party. Dahmer acidified Smith's skeleton. His skull was
Classified.
destroyed unintentionally when he was placed in the oven in an effort to dry out the moisture.
So you said
Yeah, that fractured.
acidified.
I was like,
Which is,
damn.
Well, no.
That was
The
before he
the
got killed.
specific instead of using bleach this time, he did use an acid, and it made the skull too brittle, so it broke apart in the oven when he dried it. You live and you learn, I
He
guess.
yeah.
killed Helmek.
Yeah, he did. No, but
Next vic-
are
Damn, I
you
should have took
consider
that sixer to the dome for
are
a
you
moment.
are you only doing murder victims? Or are you also doing sexual assault victims?
just murder.
Okay, well I'll get to the sexual assault victims when you're done. At least one of them that I know of.
Are there really any sexual assault victims or gay? No, just kidding.
It has the same mentality as the police did. It's like, this isn't my. Like I was saying, I made that fucking joke earlier today because I was talking about Jeffrey Dahmer at work, and I was just like, the cop was like, "That's not really my.
Okay,
That's not
continue.
really my comfort zone. That's more like the village people that dress like me. If you want to go talk to one of them."
When you reach the one that I know about, I'm going to stop you. So just go.
Ernest Miller, September 2nd, 1990, at the age of 22. Miller was a dance
Crazy.
student whom Dahmer encountered outside a bookstore. According to Dahmer, he was especially attracted to Miller's physique and was killed
He was a
by having
dancer.
his carotid artery
Yeah, dude, I'm
severed
pretty sure all of us here would
dis-
fuck a ballerina.
before being dismembered in a bathtub, with Dahmer storing his entire skeleton in the bottom drawer of a filing
And now I feel
cabinet.
bad for saying that.
And his heart, liver, biceps, and portions of his thighs in the freezer later for consumption.
Dude, he fed that shit to his neighbor.
Some lean meat.
What a dick.
Man, you gotta try this. This shit's as lame
He
as a
made
dancer.
he made her sandwiches with mystery meat.
Did she say they were good before knowing what they were?
I would never eat meat again.
I think I would. Like if it depending on how it.
I mean, hey, hold on. If it tasted good, I might go shit.
I'd be like, what does that say about me, man? That shit tasted like roast beef with a fucking splash.
Dude,
of
honestly, do you
tuna
guys
on it.
remember when it came out that Burger King was using horse meat? And do you guys remember that?
Yeah,
On,
no,
uh,
it doesn't matter what they say with that shit because I'll still eat it. Like when people are like, you
Well,
know what
when they
hot
said
dogs
that,
are
I
made
went,
of, right?
God.
And it's like, yeah.
Yeah, well, when they were like Burger King's using like 80% horse meat in some of their burgers, I went, God damn, horse meat tastes good.
yeah, shit. I'll ride that.
And that
Fuck
would be
Hidalgo.
my problem.
Dude, I get told constantly. I get
the
told
doggo.
constantly that I'm gross because I said I would eat a person if I had to.
Well, yeah, that's just normal human
I am
nature.
no, Joseph, I'm in the minority here,
You're
but
crazy.
as a foodie, before I die, on my deathbed, I would like to try a piece of human meat.
I'll put my dick in your mouth if that satisfies you.
I've already tasted that. Shut up.
Okay.
Salty on a hard day's at work.
Dude, dude, Matt, it tasted like nothing but salt, bleach, and sadness. Okay, I need to ask y'all. My thing with
Midgets.
if I'm on my deathbed, I would like to try a piece of human meat. Am I weird for that?
I'll cut
I
my
don't know,
toe
because
off and
because
skewer it for you.
I kind of was thinking about fucking that too. Like, I mean, how fucking.
It tastes
Before I
like
die,
Definitely
just
not
to-
anytime.
people say it
Only
tastes
if I'm
like
on my
pork,
deathbed.
so-
One, because it is wrong. Two, because it fucks with your brain chemistry.
Well, it
Oh,
can.
you want to
I
go
think it
full on
can.
cannibal?
Oh,
You want to go
actually, I
full on
don't know.
cannibal in
Yeah.
your fucking final hours? That'd be kind of cool.
What if it heals you?
Yeah, you
Well,
just
no,
get
that's the thing.
rejuvenated.
Well, this is the fucked up thing. This is what's fucked up. So people have said or what people have like what I've heard, what I've read about people say, like it's tastes like pork, right? But the fucked up thing is humans carry all the same vitamins and nutrients that another human needs. So you can eat that human and
Yeah,
get
but
it's the most nutritional
it
thing.
also causes mad cow
No,
disease in
well, that's
humans.
the thing is
I heard
anything that the human is plagued with, you are also plagued with if you consume it. You basically, it's like them like wiping their ass and not washing their hands and putting their fingers in your mouth. Basically, the same thing if you eat the flesh, but you will get all the nutrients.
See,
Everything their body
Matthew.
carries is the same thing your body wants. So it's like
Matthew,
the
I
perfect
heard-
thing. The only thing
I
is
heard-
ass fingers
Okay, so
is stopping you.
the stinky thing from Mallrats.
here's
What a
here's
pretzel.
the other thing is
I thought
there
it
was
was
a
only human
scientist-
brain you couldn't
hold
consume.
on. There's
just
a
a myth?
scientist
You have
who
plenty of brain.
figured there's a scientist who broke down human meat and he figured out the correct proportions of other animal meats mixed together into a ground meat that makes human meat.
Well,
I
you
mean,
imitate
in all
human.
technicality,
Anything
they say
you
there's
ever
a
eat,
whatever.
you're imitating. in a way.
They say that there's that whatever
So
percent of
honestly,
human
that
DNA in
is what
hot
I would
dogs,
like to try. Only because, like,
especially
dude,
mine.
I've tried elk, I've tried deer, I really want to try bear. I've tried alligator, and it's like, dude, I want to try fucking like, dude, I would love to try lion.
You've had everybody on those pods hog.
Yeah. No,
Yeah, but I didn't swallow with those.
I don't know. I'm not
Yeah, it
crazy about
makes you a
different meats.
bad
Like
friend.
it's kind of fun to have like different types of meat stuff, but like
We didn't ask if you ate it. We asked if you tasted it.
It's a bit salty.
Do you
yeah, he
think?
was.
Uh, well, I mean, they say though with hot dogs that there's like whatever percent of human DNA in them. So I mean, you get a little taste. I think it's just
Well, yeah,
skin.
No, it's like,
because people
dude, no,
jerk off in the factories.
no. Honestly, it comes down to a pure,
Mad dick.
People
kind of
fuck in
like
the pigs.
scientific, like a pure scientific thing where I want to go. Do we really taste like pork? What do we actually taste
I
like?
think
Because I've tried a lot of different meats and I want to continue trying meats. Dude, I want to fucking
I got a slab for you.
I hate you guys. But like, bro, if someone was just like, we have giraffe here, would you like to try giraffe? I'd be like, yeah, let's get
I
some of
would
that neck meat,
100%
bro.
try giraffe.
get that
Anytime I
neck.
go to a burrito place, any type
Or
of
Arby's.
any
or
type of
like
The,
thing
or
I've
like
ever
their
had, I'll
meats.
eat
That'd be
it.
the craziest thing.
or like hippo
Ooh,
or something like that.
Ooh,
I
yeah,
want
Yeah,
to.
if somebody
crazy.
was like,
Yeah,
"Would you like a hippo ass burrito?" I'd be like, "Yes, I would like some hippo ass." Put that
dude.
Yeah,
black.
can you give
Inside
me
of
some
hippos.
ivory toothpicks too?
Yeah, dude. Cause like I've eaten tripe.
Yeah,
I've eaten
I want a whole
fucking
fucking
cow.
elephant in my mouth.
I've eaten the. I've eaten the stomach lining of a fucking cow. It was just
That's
like,
just
dude, that's
tripe
kind of.
though.
Yeah, no. That's what I just
Did
said.
you
I've
say
eaten
you've been
tripe.
up in a stomach lining of a cow?
I've eaten it.
Balls
Like
deep.
I'm just kidding.
I've eaten tripe. I've eaten all sorts of organs from
Dude,
cows,
that just
chickens, and
reminded
pigs.
me. This is so fucked up. There's this
I've
book,
eaten a
His
lot of.
favorite is
you
cow
guys.
cock.
There's this book called
I've
Cows.
eaten a lot of goat meat. You know,
there's this
but it's like, dude,
there's a book called
I
Cows,
want to
and it's in
No,
a slaughter.
dude.
like I like deer. I like deer. I like elk. I want to try bear. Um, I want to try moose. I want like, dude, it is as long as it's
I just want
good.
a
I don't
fucking
want
moose to try me. Like me, one moose in a coliseum right now.
I don't want to eat
You always hear
I
about
don't want to eat
horsepower, but
baby
nothing
animals.
about moose power.
Okay, here's my
Yeah,
thing. I don't want to do like veal type shit. I don't want to eat baby animals because I feel like that is one kind of wrong.
it is fucked up.
Kill a
Well,
mature
yeah,
animal. Like, do you realize the only reason they kill younger animals is so that it doesn't taste like that animal? It's like, bro,
yeah.
oh, we're doing veal. It's like you could fucking pound out a pork loin; it'll
Because
taste
like,
almost the
how
same.
would
Hey,
you
hey,
feel if
it's
they
like you're
killed you when
speaking
you were
of
young?
science. Florida just passed a law that there's no imitation meat. They can't do anything like that
Dude,
because
if you
yeah.
think
Dude,
about killing a human young and what they
The
would taste
Pollock
like I
farms are gonna
probably
be pissed.
like if you killed a human when they were young, you know what they'd probably taste like? I know I would have tasted like my uncle. There we go. We get one in there.
Nice. And one every season.
I was waiting. Okay, Casey, continue.
And Mike's like, I don't want to hear any more of these molestation jokes. Actually, I think they're kind of getting old. We should probably cut that.
No, you got to keep doing them. It needs to be one every
They're
episode.
like, oh god, here we go. Matthew's ready. He's already freeze framed.
The next and final
Like,
victim of the 1990s was David Thomas of September 24th, 1990, at the age of 22. He encountered Dahmer at the inn near Grand Avenue Mall. He was lured to Dahmer's apartment on the promise of money for posing for nude. Once a laced drink had rendered, Thomas, I guess entered him too, but it rendered him unconscious. Dahmer decided that he wasn't his type and strangled Thomas anyway, taking pictures.
Yeah, I don't really like you.
You're a dick. Now, taking Polaroid pictures of the dismemberment process, and then no remains were ever found.
Dude, fucking was that the That was his last one. Was that the one who had a family and was trying to get home, or is that somebody else? There was somebody, and there was arguments of whether or not because it was like something, and then some people said that with, he had sex with them for money. Might have been a different guy, but then the dude's wife was like, "No, he wouldn't do that. He wasn't gay." And it's like, I don't know, man. If he need that money, he was gay in the moment. I don't know.
You ever seen Bait Bus?
I don't know, man. Like money is money. There ain't no fucking like they say that fucking gender is a spectrum, but it's like so is sexuality. If you need that money,
The next one in the 1991s, we have one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, 8 murders
He
into
went
this
hard
one.
that year.
Well, this is his final year. He
This
was
is when
on.
he said it became uncontrollable.
This was when he was on a
He got reckless.
Slay Fest.
Well, it wasn't that he got reckless. His hunger for blood got uncontrollable.
Well, yeah, which was reckless. So at that point, he probably just wanted to do as much as he could in the small amount of time as possible, knowing that he would be caught because that's what he deserved. I
Well,
think.
I don't think he thought he would be caught. I just think that he
Or he got
disregarded any
Well,
kind
yeah,
of.
or he got lucky way too many times that he thought that that was natural and that was the order of things.
Okay, so 1991, Curtis uh, Straughter. Excuse me, I gotta sneeze real quick. Hold on.
damn, you had hella prep time for that sneeze.
I think he's
Mind
taking
you,
a shit and he
Troy.
just pre-recorded.
Hold on, he froze. Did we just hear a splash?
If I would have talked, it would have went away. So I had to get it out. All right. So 1991. The first victim is Curtis Strotner, I believe is how you say his name.
Shot in
February
the
18th. At the age of 17, he was approached by Dahmer as he waited for a bus stop near the Marquette University. Dahmer lured Strother to his apartment where he drugged, handcuffed, and strangled him before dismembering his body in a bathtub. He retained Strother's skulls, hands, and genitals. The next victim, Errol Lindsay, April 7th, 1991, at the age of 19. This is the first victim who Dahmer practiced what he later described to investigators as the drilling technique, a procedure in which he drilled holes into the victim's skull through which he injected hydrochloric acid into the brain. According to Dahmer, Lindsay awoke after this practice, after which he was again rendered unconscious with a laced drink
I I
by
want everybody
sailors.
to think about this. I assume y'all think about it as intense pain. Um, but this entire process would not be intense pain. It'd probably be like being on intense drugs. And I say this only because the brain has no nerve
Yeah,
endings.
they said that it was probably a painful fucking, especially.
I assumed it was painless
or
because
No,
the
no, no,
brain
no, no.
doesn't
That's
have.
what I meant to say. My bad. They
getting
said that it
to
was
the brain would be
painless.
painful. But
That it
yeah,
was painless
Oh
because
yeah,
all
listen to
the
him.
drugs they were on.
but he would drill through the skull while they were unconscious.
Yeah,
So it'd be just like being under
and I don't know if this is
for
true, but I heard he was dosing
a
them with the
procedure.
Okay.
sleeping medication that was prescribed. So I don't know if that
Yeah.
part's true though.
But like, yeah, this is the acid being in the brain. Y'all probably assume that this was extremely painful. No, this is probably extremely euphoric. Um, maybe not, but like definitely disorienting, if not euphoric.
I
Um,
just assume it's just eating his brain away and he's just slowly losing his shit.
yeah, it is probably very disorienting, but there's no pain because the brain does not have nerve endings. So
But yeah, he.
it would not be painful. You a lot of people they look at this as like a form of torture. It would not be torture because the brain doesn't have nerve endings. It is and I'm not dismissing what Dahmer did.
Yeah, you
He
are.
was a fucked up guy. He did torture people, but
You're
You're a
saying it's
Dama man.
vacation. That's-
This situation would actually not be painful because the brain doesn't have nerve endings. So
But
if
after
any,
he did that,
I
he did strangle him and
I don't want to
filleted
do
his
this.
body. So
Yeah, I don't want to do this to anybody, but I really would like to try to run a simulation on what happened in the brain while the brain was deteriorating. You, you know what I mean? It's an interesting thing to think about. What exactly
that
did they
sounds
go
that
through?
that sounds a little.
Sus.
Well,
For
no, this is something I think about, and it's fucked. But like, what exactly happened with their thought process and their memory and everything while their brain was just being eaten away because it was literally
their
being
brain
eaten.
personally, I think it depends. I think it depends on how intelligent they were.
It
I
depends.
think
Well, no, it depends on where they shot the acid in, what angle,
I
where they
think
shot
what you
it.
need to do is bring this up to a scientist, get some monkeys, do a study on them, put it on a trial for some people who are suicidal and want to kill
But
themselves.
like,
Get
uh,
them, use them for
yeah,
test subjects.
it's like it's a fucked up thing, but it is unfortunately fascinating. What this motherfucker was running scientific tests, he just wasn't taking notes.
Yeah.
Hate to say it that way
no.
because
I feel like
all
he
of these
wasn't
people.
very like
No, hold on. All of these
methodical.
people
He
ended
was
up.
all about. Well, there was nothing controlled. He was just like, "What? Oh, what would happen if I did this?" He was
Yeah,
like a little kid in explosions. I don't think he was
yeah.
scientifical. He was like a little kid with explosions. Like, oh,
This was
this
a
would be cool if it
motherfucker.
exploded without taking any controlled experiments or anything. He doesn't.
This
There
was
would be too many
yeah.
variables in
This
between.
was a motherfucker burning ants
Yeah,
on the
yeah, it was.
playground. That's all he
Yeah,
was.
yeah. That's what I think. It wasn't a scientist would burn certain ants at a certain angle. It'd be and they would like there would be more what ifs and everything else to make it more
Could you
like
imagine?
he wasn't
So
learning anything. He just wanted to
he
see it
ran tests on
separate.
people. Could you imagine? Like it's the tests he ran on people are terrible.
Yeah,
I understand he was trying to make a zombie. He was not like this is not scientific test. He is just being a terrible human being and possibly torturing people because we don't know exactly how this stuff works.
I think he wanted to
Even
see
even
people suffer.
even even if these no, that's not what he wanted. Even if these nerves weren't firing the way they're weren't firing in the brain, it could still be painful emotionally or
Well,
be
he
painful
wanted
in
to
a
see
different.
suffering. I think he wanted to see how people would react with different pressure. That's it. He wanted to see human suffering, and he wanted to see it for himself firsthand without actually experiencing it. And I think that's what he was interested in
I
because it
actually
wasn't
don't.
it wasn't like about making zombies. So like a scientist is like we applied this much pressure, we record how much pressure, and then we watch and wait. Then we apply a little bit more pressure and watch and wait and stuff like that, and we record each result so we understand how much. And we have to record it so we remember, because you can go to sleep and forget shit. He didn't. He just did it for the sake of just doing it. And he was still curious. He was a curious
I
mind, but a
I
curious
I
mind is
actually
not a scientific one. Everyone's curious. He just
I
wanted to
actually
see
think you're
suffering on
wrong.
different degrees. He wanted to witness it for
I
himself, but he had no control group, so he didn't gain anything. He would repeat the same process. If he was
I
a scientist, he would live in a loop. He'd repeat the same process over and over again because he didn't grow from it, because he didn't learn.
Matt, I actually think you're wrong. I respect your opinion, but I think you're wrong. I don't think I this is a weird thing. I
Any
don't think Dahmer was
documentation or
sadistic.
journals to record his
I don't
findings?
think I don't think Dahmer was sadistic. I think he was running experiments. But
Because he's just doing it for the sake of
okay,
sake of
I don't mean
experiencing
this.
for
Okay,
himself. So he's
I
experiencing,
think
not
he was stupid.
experimenting. If that makes any sense, he's experiencing, not experimenting. Experimenting, you document findings so you can remember them for tomorrow. Experiencing them
Not
is putting a
not if
firecracker on a fucking frog and watching it blow up because you want to see the which way the trajectory of the guts blow. It's like it's different. It's not scientifical. There's a curiosity in
Matt.
science, but not actually nothing profitable in that, as far as like expanding
Matt.
your own mind. He was just like Yeah, he wasn't a smart. He was smart enough, and he was curious enough, and he got lucky just enough, but wasn't a scientist. I think far from it.
Well, oh no, he's not a scientist, but you were wrong in this aspect, where
I'm
you
not
feel that because he's not a scientist, he is not running
not saying that.
experiments.
If I want to know, so if I like day to day life, if I do something different, I remember like why it's wrong or whatever. You correct errors. It's kind of like when you correct a shot, like you shoot and you're like, oh, I'm like 2 meters on the right. Let me just keep correcting my shot every day. But you have to document it because it's not something that happens so quickly. So you have to document that, and if you don't document it, you'll lose it, and that's what science is. He wanted to see things firsthand. It's kind of like, oh, I don't know what beheading looks like, so let me look it up. Stuff like that. He was a curious mind, but
But
and
Matt,
you could say an
with what
experimental
you're
one, but he was
saying,
more about experience than he was actually science. He wasn't. He would forget.
that hold
That's
on.
why he
What
repeated
you're
the same
saying,
thing.
you're saying that because he didn't write shit down, he didn't learn. He was learning. He adapted his methods after he tried
Well,
experiment.
of
He was
killing people.
experimenting and hold on. Yes, he was killing people, but just because he wasn't writing down, he was adapting his methods. Though he changed methodology for making zombies.
He didn't do much by it.
He just. Oh yeah, no,
There's
no. This
so
guy's a
he
he's
lost so
fuck.
much information in that time.
Oh
He
yeah.
went off. He
Well,
went
he's
off.
not a scientist. He's a stupid fucking
What
alcoholic
I say?
dude.
Let's rewind this. And I said he's not a scientist. He is experiencing, not experimenting. And I'll say that again. It's
He was
it's the
experimenting
difference
though.
in me putting a firecracker on a frog and watching it blow up, and just to see the trajectory of its guts. It's like that's it. I want to see
That is
things to blow up.
still an experiment
To
because
what?
you
To
didn't know
what?
which way the guts would go. That's
To
exactly
what?
it.
But it's the same every time. So he's not scientifical.
Okay,
He's
Matt,
not
hold on.
learning.
No,
It's
no,
always
no, no.
random all the time.
Matt,
He's not having anything that is anchored. He's not putting anything down. It's
the fact
he's
that he
basically he
learned,
was an immature mind that was very curious, and he was intelligent that he
yes,
could get away with some things, but he wasn't. Obviously, he's fucked up in the head that he wasn't. He was a curious mind. Nonetheless, and geniuses, anyone that's smart has a very curious mind, but they're also smart enough to record and learn from their mistakes and stuff like that, which something he did not, like we said millions of times over. He got lucky. He didn't get better at hiding his killings or anything else. He just got lucky. He was a curious mind. He wasn't very intelligent. He wasn't an experimental one. He learned nothing from it. He did a lot of the same things over and over again. Some things that made
he
no
learned a
sense.
lot. No, it's not that he
He
learned
learned how
nothing.
to break
You're
bodies
assuming
down. That's it.
no. You're assuming he knows as much as you.
What I'm saying was he had that immature mind. He, like you said, he had a microscope.
Exactly, immature mind.
He had a magnifying glass, and he was burning ants to see the reaction. He wanted to see the reaction of things. That's just human
That doesn't
nature.
make it.
That's why we love Michael Bay
That doesn't make
films.
it any less scientific. Just because you know more than him doesn't
No,
make
no.
his
His what you assume is his scientific nature. It literally, it's like Michael Bay films, explosions that catches our attention. He just wants to see things burn. He wants to know why it
that's to
burns,
you.
but he doesn't get there because he doesn't know.
No, that's to you. That's to you because you already know the
Where's
science.
his diaries at? Do you think he would put something profound? Because most people that do these crazy ass experiments, like the Nazis, recorded this shit. They're psychopaths, but they record it because it was
He
some findings.
he talked. It is talked about and recorded that the fact that the first time he put the acid in, it didn't do what he wanted
This
to.
is
So
science. No one. I apply burn to the
he
skin and
adjusted
it
his
hurts them. And the reaction is they freak out and they say, ow, 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 ow. That's his science. That's his science. It's stuff we already know, but he wanted to
That's not it
experience, not
though.
experiment. That's what I'm saying. He wanted to experience, not experiment.
This experiment was an actual scientific study in his own mind.
Everything's a scientific study in our
Just
own mind.
because
We're all legends in our own mind. Doesn't make him smart. It just makes him want to. It just makes him do what his
just
mind tells
because
him to do.
well, that's what I'm saying. Just because you know more than him doesn't mean he wasn't doing this scientifically. He
No, it means exactly he wasn't
tested
doing it scientifically. It's like
he tested a He tested a hypothesis, got proved wrong, tested it again with different circumstances.
What was he trying to figure out? I'm not a scientist if I throw a ball and be like, yep, gravity exists. Let me see how far it goes and keep
He
throwing
would-
the ball. No, I want to see the reaction. I want to see the experience of it, not an experiment. He's doing something that's been
He
done.
would-
Bullets kill people. If you keep shooting people, be like, yep, oh, that one kills somebody.
No.
That's what he was doing. He was just sick. Sick people want it. It's like
No,
a chainsaw cuts
you're
someone's
wrong
head
right
off.
there. You're
You
wrong.
Okay, let me say it. Science says a chainsaw cuts someone's head off. If anyone performs that science again, they want to live
You're wrong,
experience. He wants experience. He doesn't want to experiment. Obviously, a chainsaw cuts someone's fucking head off. The only fact that someone does it
Matt.
again for science to replicate it means they want experience, not experiment. He wanted to see it work.
Matt, hold on. Do you know the whole reason he was what he was trying to achieve? Do you know?
No, I don't know. I don't know.
Exactly. So that's
because it wasn't factual.
No.
He could not
That's where our
convince
whole
me what he was doing was right because there's no scientific reasoning what he was doing was right.
He had
Everything
he
that
had
he
a
done,
scientific
torture could be simulated into what outcome. It wouldn't matter. It'd all be the same. I could actually do what he did theoretically on paper and tell you what the outcome was, but I wouldn't have to have any human suffering. Oh, if you cut someone's head off, did you know the head rolls on the floor? I could tell you that theoretically. I don't have to do it. Jeffrey Dahmer, that doesn't happen theoretically. Let me cut his head off to show you that it actually works. No, I could tell you Jeffrey Dahmer. I can tell you it happens theoretically. Jeffrey Dahmer, no. Let me do it to make sure it works. That is the difference.
Hold on.
Experience versus experiments. He's not a scientist. He's just a little kid with a bullfrog and a fucking firecracker. That's it.
Hold on. Listen to me. I'm not saying he was a scientist.
Just lucky.
I'm not saying he's a scientist. No, but he was doing scientific experiments. Because he was not trying to see what people could go through. He was trying to make a sex slave. He was trying to see how much of the brain he could delete.
So you tell me,
with keeping the
what's his name? Charles Darwin is a scientist because he figured out how to make a sex slave. He injected people with, he gave people meth. He told them to do what they did. He's a scientist for it.
Yeah. Manson?
Sorry, Charles Manson, not Darwin. My bad.
That's MK Ultra. That's different.
Drunk as fuck.
That's not the way I want to see evolution.
That's our town's evolution. Theory of our town's.
Matt, what I'm saying he is not testing the capabilities of the human structure. He is testing capabilities of the human mind. It's different. He's not saying if I cut their head off, then their head will stay alive.
He's living through experience. And you have to have a control group so you can see something other than what you're visually
again,
like what you're seeing.
He was not a scientist. He was not a scientist, but the things he was doing to these bodies were scientific.
No, they weren't. Well, slightly.
Yeah,
he was using scientific methods. He was
using
scientific methods, but he wasn't a scientist. It's like this. You could tell me if you cut someone's head off, you know what it looks like? You could tell me all you want to. I can't visualize it unless I do it myself. So let me do it myself. Now I learned. That's basically him. What he was doing was very mediocre. He was curious but not super intelligent. He was belligerent and he was just fucking got lucky. He just really got lucky.
No.
He was very
I'm
charismatic.
not arguing that, but
it wasn't scientific. He learned a couple science things.
I'm not arguing how stupid he was.
I can make kitchen-made weed
I'm
killer in my yard.
arguing
Doesn't
the
make me a
fact.
scientist. I'm just saying that he wasn't.
I'm
doing it
arguing the
methodically. He was random every time. Everything was random. He was like, "Oh, I just went on the internet that this drug hurts people."
It was scientific because the fact that he did it multiple times and he changed parameters each time to see what would work better, that makes it scientific.
But
he didn't just
the information was there. He did it through experience, not science.
He did it through Okay. Scientists learn through experimentation.
But it's already been done, so why do it again?
You really think people have injected acid into people?
Where's his diaries of this finding that we know for
He's creating it. Okay, I'm saying I'm not agreeing with what he did, but what he did was scientific, even if he was stupid about the way he did it. Because He tested. He said this test didn't work the way I should do it.
I
He adapted and retested with a different method.
But-
That is scientific.
But what I'm saying is what he's doing is not for science. It's for experience.
Oh no, it's just for his own personal
It's like-
gratification.
Exactly.
But it is
That's what I'm saying.
scientific method.
It's for own personal gratification. But it's
Oh
not.
no,
It's
it is.
like,
It is completely wrong.
Yeah,
It's completely
it's
fucked
just
up.
self
But he uses
gratification. That's what I'm saying.
scientific
It's
methodology.
experience and not experiment is what he was doing, because you don't need to make that experiment if it's, I want to say, common sense. Everything that he did, of course, that would be the reaction of
wasn't-
such. But he wants to see
no,
it in
but
front
hold
of
on,
himself.
hold on.
That's
How
what
would you
murderers do.
make a zombie?
Murderers torture
How-
people.
No. We're talking about science. How would you make a zombie? Tell me.
I wouldn't do it
because
that
he
way.
was trying to make a zombie. How would you do it?
I wouldn't.
I'm not. Again,
I wouldn't
I'm
have
not,
the technology to do
I'm
that
not-
because
I'm not-
as a person that believes
I'm-
in science, nothing that I can buy at the fucking store will let me make a zombie. But that's just a person of science. Now, a person not of science, I'd put bleach in their brain. I'd do all kinds of weird shit. But again,
Yeah, exactly.
Jeffrey Dahmer, not a person
Just-
of science. That's what I'm trying to say. He's just a crazy mad man.
But he is following the scientific method, unfortunately.
I put 10 liters of.
Which is
Where's his,
the
where's his
scientific method is
documentation?
you
His journal. I put 10 liters of fucking
no.
bleach into his brain.
It
I did all
doesn't.
this.
It doesn't matter.
The subject.
doesn't matter,
The
the out-
subject is perturbed. The subject is. There's nothing.
Matt,
There's nothing. He
the
did
science-
it based on
the
experience.
scientific-
Literally, I compare him to a little ass fucking kid that put a firecracker on a bullfrog. That's it. Not very intelligent.
That's not what
You're
I'm talking
curious,
about.
but not
I'm ta-
intelligent. That's all I'm saying.
I'm talking about the scientific method. The scientific method is you come up with a hypothesis, you test that hypothesis, you come up with a result, and then you
That makes
retest
everyone
that
a scientist
hypothesis
by that.
based on
Doesn't that-
result.
Does that make everyone a scientist
No.
through trial and error? Yeah, through trial and error, that makes everyone in this planet a scientist, because that's how we figure things out.
I mean,
I'm just saying.
but yeah,
I don't.
Well, 'cause I was gonna say, 'cause I gotta go.
I think
so
he's
was
more of a
gonna
lucky guy than anything, honestly,
wrap
and
up.
very charismatic.
oh yeah, he's lucky.
I think he's lucky and charismatic.
He's lucky. He's charismatic. He's not a good person, but he was using kind of scientific. He was using scientific methods.
I think.
because he had a hypothesis. He tested the
I
hypothesis.
don't think he was brilliant
adjusted
or
his-
anything.
Oh no, he's fucking dumb. But he had a hypothesis. He tested that hypothesis. He found out stuff about it. He adjusted his equation and then retested that hypothesis. That's scientific.
But that's what everyone does. That just in general, people do that. I don't.
But that is
I
just
don't know if, and I could be wrong. I don't know any documentation of him using these, writing these down. Maybe they found ashes. Maybe they're hiding it. Who knows? But to what? Because scientists document things down because it takes extra steps to learn things, because there's so many variables involved when you're actually doing things actually scientifically. There's too many variables to consider, and so you can't take things for like.
So
Yeah,
this
you
is
know?
what I'm saying. The scientific method, the 6 steps of scientific method include 1, asking a question about something you observe. 2, doing background on research and learn what is already known about the topic. 3,
He did that.
constructing a
But he still did it
3,
anyways.
constructing a hypothesis on the topic. 4, experimenting to test the hypothesis. 5, analyzing the data from the experiment. And 6, hold on.
Let me tell you
coming
this.
up with a
Let me
con-
tell you, he already had his answer before he did this experimentation. He already knew that this would kill people. This would make them delirious. This would do that. Why would he experiment further? No reason.
No.
So not very scientific by those standards. Not very scientific.
His goal was not to kill someone. It was to make a
He
zombie.
was using methods that you could probably, I don't know how well the internet was, but nowadays you could look up the internet. What does cyanide do to a person? He's like, no. Even though the internet says it'll kill them, let me put a small amount and see if it makes him a zombie. Doesn't matter. Obviously, if he knew enough, I don't know shit about anatomy, but I could tell you if you put too much chemicals in a fucking brain, you'll make him retarded.
What?
If I kill
What
the
I'm
person,
saying is,
he wasn't.
Despite all of Dahmer,
That makes
despite all of
anybody a
Dahmer's fault, he
scientist
was-
that does anything. I can do
It's
a
just
like
Matt.
he
Look up
wasn't
the
intelligent.
scientific
Like I
method.
said, dude, he was an immature fucking crazy person.
I'm not
That's
saying
it.
he was intelligent. I'm saying he was concluding scientific. Uh, I'm saying he was running scientific tests on his people
I wouldn't call
that
it
he was killing.
science.
It
Science
is science, though.
Science, well, okay, by that standard, that means science is anything new to your brain then. That means
That's exactly what it is.
well then that means everyone that is simple or mediocre or almost anyone that's retarded, everything new to them is science then. And they're scientists. They're scientists. This guy
But
comes up to me. Did you know if you put blue, you mix with blue and yellow, you make green? Oh my god, you're a fucking scientist, aren't you? No. He's not a fucking scientist.
no,
That like
here's the
no,
thing,
he's a
though.
scientist.
Who else?
Basically,
What
Dahmer
other
was
science?
mixing
What
blue
other?
and he was mixing blue and yellow together and make green. That's all he was doing. What he was doing was already been done before
That,
a million times
it
over.
hasn't been done though.
Right,
It hasn't been
torturing
done
and
though.
killing people. Okay, let me. Oh, I'm a scientist. I give cyanide to someone and they die. Let me document it down. Cyanide
He
kills
what?
people.
He
Even though
okay.
it says
So
on the
no.
internet cyanide kills people, he's not a scientist. What he's doing is
You guys are muted. You guys can't hear each other.
Yes, I got a I got an out going. Yeah.
Allah, it's good to be back. I mean, all four conspiracy comrades co-oping split screen? Fuck yeah. It's been a hard minute, and by hard I mean Zeus seeing a fair maiden whose husband ventured off for work hard. Y'all miss Matt facts from the Mattoverse? Well, here we go. Adam Britton, 51, was a NT crocodile expert who raped and tortured 39 dogs and puppies to before telling owners their pets were settling in well at his shelter. Weird opening, right? You might be pondering the simple question as to why a crocodile expert had a side hobby in molesting canines. Well, I will rebuttal with, why the fuck are you fixated on reptile rape, you rancid fuck? I digress. Anywho, he pleaded guilty to animal cruelty charges along with the rape and torture of dogs. Apparently he pleaded guilty to 56 counts in the Northern Territory Supreme Court in a calm, cool collective. I know, right? What the fuck? This man is the Dahmer of canine canoodling. The offender has had a sadistic sexual interest in animals and in particular dogs, Mr. Ost said, the prosecutor stated. Though I could not find details on his perverse puppy pal poundings, I did stumble upon many of pictures of him posing with animals, and let me say, even though he has many poses with crocs, you can see the flickers of frustrated pent-up sexual tension in them eyes longing for Mon's best friend. I am not advocating fucking your furry friend. But what I am saying is, in a society where we can rock a Mario Tanuki tail butt plug in public, and the only question that would arise would be, when did you first get introduced to Mario? Let me check my Matto eyes for a possible solution for such a conundrum. This might take a minute. Oh shit, found it. Etsy has a whole section for it. They even have a Metal Gear Solid Psycho Mantis gas mask with a fleshlight mouth. I know what you're thinking. Why? Stay tuned for part 2 to Dahmer. Thank you for listening to the Conspiracy Outpost.